Good morning, everybody. Let's have a look at these charts then, shall we? I'm sitting here on the 1 hourly chart, which is kind of strange. Don't normally do this, but the reason we're doing it is the Bollinger Bands are starting to pinch quite tightly. We've been consolidating since the most recent local high, the one that's basically based around candle bodies, not breaking and holding above 35,000. So we're still sitting in the 34s, and the main thing would be to hold this Bollinger Band center in the moment. So we've got a 50 exponential, we've got a 20 simple, above that is the 10, and just above that is the 21 exponential. So around this area, more or less where we're at right now, 34,075 to basically 34,155. These are the areas that I really want to hold if you want to have a retest of the most recent local high based on candle bodies. So it's a tiny move, but it's a move that should at least hold this area. If we break down from here and we continue to consolidate, I think we drip down lower than where we came down to yesterday, and we do run the risk. I say it's not a risk; it's fine, to be honest, considering where we've come from. But we do look more likely to come back down to the 32,000s, which again backed up by a horizontal, the 1 hourly 200 exponential sitting around there as well now. 4 hourly 50 exponential, just another portion of a golden cross retest, which is fine. Now, based on the 4 hourly, obviously, it doesn't look particularly good, which is why we want to clear this area. Breaking and holding above 34,200, 250. That should, again, give us the ability to try and push back up on the immediate term timeframes, as in like today, over the weekend. Otherwise, a consolidation is perfectly fine. Looking for this to come back down and see if we can hold around 32, really, or just lower than that. Momentum-wise, consolidation across the board, which is fine. That's no big deal. We want to consolidate, and let's take it to the daily, where we do see money flow index read over here, which peaked so far at just short of 90. So we do see peaks higher than that. That's fine. And on the higher term time frames, no bearish diversions at all. So it don't look like, to me, it doesn't look like this trend wants to change trends at the moment. Although a pullback is absolutely perfectly acceptable. 32,000 is again backed up by a 10 exponential over here. So all of that looks perfectly fine. Now let's have a look at Ethereum and have a think about what Ethereum wants to do. Because Ethereum will likely dictate the overall direction of all other altcoins, generally speaking. So we got our pump signals generated back over here, more or less, not too far from the price action that it's currently at. We're above most moving averages, holding support currently at 1,786 and 91 pence. So that's your current support on the daily, which again is more or less where we are right now. The 4 hourly, similar, almost exactly the same as Bitcoin. So most altcoins look like this: fresh golden crosses, moving on the way up, with a view to retest that, which for Ethereum is 1,652. So that's all perfectly fine to see that. That would also cause a higher low, so it would be what you'd want to see in the form of an uptrend beginning, really. 4 hourly signals like this, or setups, and then retests of them forming higher lows. So that's all fine, and then going on to make a higher high. So the main question really is, are we able to hold this area right now, or do we come down first? Whichever way you want to try and play it, I would probably, like I said for the last couple of days, sit back, enjoy the profits that we've made over the last couple of weeks, and then wait to see if these uptrends, especially for altcoins, are genuine. And if Bitcoin it actually wants to hold this area, or if it wants to come back down again to again just to make another higher low, that's all perfectly fine. Trying to jump on board too early, to try and catch some kind of pump without any major setup, or at least an entry point for the setups, kind of could pose to be a bit deadly. I would expect to see things like this anyway. So if we just come back down and then we bounce around wherever the 200 exponential is, and then carry on onwards and upwards. So most likely it will make a new higher high across the board for everything. That's the most likely scenario given everything that we've seen so far. But it doesn't mean that you should jump on, straight in and try and take positions at this very moment in time, because most of the time when we see these setups, a retest of those moving averages is probably the most likely scenario anyway. And if they do get retested, that's the best entry point to try and take part in the next higher low. So it's good to wait. So, like I said, we've had a good couple of weeks now, and it's definitely worth sitting back and watching and waiting. We've got certain things that we want to see move up, that we think will move up more than others, more than Bitcoin, more than Ethereum. So that's fine. So we've got certain altcoins in our crosshairs waiting to pull the trigger on them. But from this exact area right now, probably best to wait regardless. And if you miss the pump, you miss the pump. But it's all about risk to reward. Don't want to risk too much, especially when you've made serious gains over the last couple of weeks. You don't want to see any of that sort of disappear just because you don't have the patience to wait. Right, so a quick look at traditional markets. So this is S&P futures. So we can see this now, really resetting, to be honest with you. And we'll have a look at SPX. So we've broken down now below the major area of support. So this now looks like a downtrend that is only going to strengthen at this point. A relief rally would be the best thing you could ask for. So again, stocks looking droopy, not looking particularly happy. Could actually melt down at this point now. Targets of around 3,800, to be fair, is absolutely on the cards before another major bounce. Doesn't mean that we can't see some moves up or maybe even close green today, but the trend looks to me like it's breaking now, which is absolutely fine to allow that to happen. Dixie, how are you doing? So yeah, Dixie bouncing, looking to continue up, I would say, at this one now. Revisit the most recent local high and then probably hit its way up to 107.7, maybe over the next, maybe today, maybe over the next week or so. What else is worth looking at? Gold, still resilient, strong and resilient. Okay, so as far as we can say, the pullback on gold is not quite ripe already yet. Normally you'd see gold fade in the form of dollar strength, and we haven't seen that, which again is another nice thing to see, because Bitcoin's obviously not done that. But yeah, I think we are on borrowed time for a deeper pullback on this one. I know it seems unlikely when you see such a dramatic move back up, but consolidation has to happen, which is kind of how I feel about Bitcoin. You have these big moves up. I feel like it wants to consolidate. Gold has had a very extreme read on the money flow index over here at 96. So although that doesn't necessarily mark the top, it does give you toppy vibes. The last time we saw such overheated reads was back over here, and we saw these these incredible reads back after what was going on over in the Ukraine. So we'll see what happens over there. So long story short, probably best to wait and see. Not a big fan of exactly this moment in time for immediate continuation, although it is not it's not impossible. The key for me would be closures on a 4-hourly and on a 1-hourly. Why am I drawing lots of circles on the screen there? A closure on the 1-hourly and on the 4-hourly above 34,250. That would be okay, and that would indicate sort of immediate continuation. Maybe only baby steps, but it would be better than not being at that level. If we're lower than that level, which we are at this very moment in time, probably consolidation is more likely. So invalidation and validation points for you. It's not like I'm saying something definitely has to happen at this level. We have to wait and see what price action wants to do. Closures above 34,250 probably sees continuation. Closures below probably sees continuation. So expect lower at this moment in time, or expect higher at that moment in time. It's kind of that. It is relatively, that is kind of that simple. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there. Good luck out there with trading all this. Otherwise, just sit back, watch and wait, and we'll see what next week brings us. Either way, we should still see some serious pumps, but maybe they'll be from pumping from lower levels. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.